Imagine taking an oath, right, to preserve human life, like dedicating years of your life to understanding the intricate machinery of the human body.
Right, years of grueling study.
Exactly, only to turn around and use that exact medical knowledge to commit a brutal quadruple homicide.
It's horrifying.
It really is. So, welcome to the deep dive. If you're someone who is fascinated by the darkest extremes of human psychology, you are in for a wild ride today.
Oh, absolutely.
We are unpacking excerpts from Aditya Nighhot's award-winning novel, Until Love Sets Us Apart. And our mission today is to deconstruct exactly how a predictable, everyday college romance just completely spirals into absolute chaos.
Yeah, we're really exploring that razor-thin line between love and total destruction.
Because it is a remarkable case study in how quickly, the architecture of a normal life can just collapse.
It really is. I mean, the prologue of the book sets up this very compelling philosophical premise. It's about how we all operate under this comforting illusion of predictability.
Oh, right, the daily routine thing.
Yeah, exactly. You wake up at the same time you brush your teeth, you take the same route to work or school, you see the same friends. You construct this daily routine, and it convinces you that, well, you're the one in charge of your life.
Right, you feel safe.
You do.
Yeah.
But the text argues that while you're busy clinging to that routine, you're completely ignoring the fact that fate is playing a very different, highly adversarial game against you. To use the book's direct phrasing, fate is actually a bitch.
Wow. Yeah, and fate really kicks the door down on what was supposed to be a completely normal evening, right?
Oh, completely.
So we start our journey in a pizza restaurant. The author, Aditya, who is an MBBS student, which is the standard undergraduate medical degree in India, by the way.
Right.
He's there celebrating his first book's print run. It's a great night. He is handing out copies, drinking iced tea with his friends, Nikhil and Varun, and the vibe is just completely celebratory.
Until the news broadcast.
Yes, a news broadcast on the restaurant television just cuts through the noise. A missing medical student has just been arrested by the Pune police.
And his crime isn't just a minor offense.
No, it's the murder of 4 people.
The cognitive dissonance there is immediate. I mean, it's staggering.
It really is.
You have a student of medicine, someone who is literally training to heal people, apprehended as a mass murderer.
Right, which goes against everything they stand for.
Exactly. And historically, when medical professionals cross that line, it usually involves a god complex or, some twisted form of mercy killing.
Like the classic angel of death scenario.
Right. But this case presents something far more violent, which demands a completely different psychological explanation.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Sure.
Because why would someone dedicating their life to the preservation of life suddenly pivot into a serial killer?
It doesn't make any sense on the surface.
Right. And that massive contradiction is the exact instinct that drives Aditya. He looks at his friends, sitting right there at the pizza place, and decides he needs to investigate this specific case for his next book.
And to understand the killer's state of mind in the present, Aditya realizes he has to, map out the horrific trail of violence left behind.
Which means leaving his comfort zone.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
He has to step out of the sterile, predictable world of a medical college and step right into the messy, overwhelming reality of a homicide investigation in a major Indian city.
Which is an incredibly gritty transition. Like, we move from this relaxed pizza party to the reality of the local police station, and the contrast just couldn't be starker.
No, it's a completely different world.
This station feels less like a sterile investigative unit and more like a crowded fish market.
Yeah, the sensory details are intense.
It's deafeningly noisy, telephones are constantly ringing off the hook, and the most frequent visitor seems to be the local chaiwala just walking through to serve tea.
Right, just business as usual in the chaos.
Yeah. And Aditya and Nikhil, they approach a sub-inspector named A. Tambe. And the details really ground you in the environment. Like, Tembe has this prominent pot belly. His uniform belt is so loose, it looks like it's just going to fall off.
Which is such a vivid image.
It is. And he is perpetually chewing paparan, which is this traditional preparation of betel leaf and areca nut that stains his lips bright red. And he dismisses them almost immediately. He doesn't even offer them a chair.
Well, that scene is crucial because it highlights the bottleneck of the bureaucratic system.
How so?
Because a high-profile quadruple homicide doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in an under-resourced, chaotic environment where officers are already stretched incredibly thin.
Right. They don't have time for a medical student playing detective.
Exactly. So while Tambay brushes them off, the narrative actually pulls us into the real investigation, which is spearheaded by ACP Assistant Commissioner of Police R. Deshmukh.
and the timeline here is wild.
It's critical. The date is May 15th, 2015, and this is ACP Deshmukh's very first day in Pune after being transferred from Mumbai.
That is a brutally stressful first day on the job.
I mean, he barely has time to locate his desk before Inspector Pulsel hands him the file on this escalating nightmare.
Oh, man.
And if we analyze the pattern of the crimes, the psychological profile of the killer seems really erratic at first glance.
Let's talk about the first victim.
Right. Victim number 1, Rohan Khanna. He is found in his own bedroom, but the scene is an absolute bloodbath.
It's awful.
He had been tied to a chair and aggressively tortured. Mirrors and glasses were shattered everywhere, and jagged pieces of glass were actually embedded into his face.
That is so visceral.
It is. And finally, he was stabbed multiple times with incredible force. Now, looking at the pathology of that specific scene, it suggests an emotionally compromised, highly disorganized offender.
Like they just snapped.
Yeah, it looks like a crime of pure, unadulterated passion where the killer simply lost all control.
Okay, wait, I have to push back on the idea that this is just some disorganized crime of passion.
Oh.
Yeah, because if you look at what happens literally minutes later, the killer's profile completely shifts.
Okay, that's fair.
That very same day, a second victim is found, Suraj Dixit. Now, he is discovered shot dead inside his Honda City, which is parked at a dead end in Koregaon Park.
Right, a totally different MO.
Completely different. Unlike Rohan's bedroom, there are absolutely no signs of a struggle. Suraj was just shot at close range. And here's the detail that completely undermines the idea of a killer who has lost control.
The weapon.
Yes. The murder weapon used to execute Suraj was found right there in the car, and it was Rohan's personal gun.
Which is a huge twist.
And the postmortem reports confirm the timeline, which is the craziest part. Rohan was killed at 5:45 p.m. Just 30 minutes later, at 6:15 p.m., Suraj is shot dead.
Yeah, it forces a complete reevaluation of the evidence. I mean, you are looking at a 30-minute window.
Exactly. If a killer murders Rohan in a brutal rage at 5:45, somehow has the presence of mind to secure Rohan's gun, drives 2 kilometers to Koregaon Park, and executes Suraj with that stolen weapon at 6:15.
It's almost tactical.
That is terrifyingly calculated. It's like someone playing a game of chess, but seamlessly using the opponent's captured pieces to finish off the rest of the board. I mean, that doesn't sound disorganized to me at all.
No, I agree. That points to a high level of adaptability. What's fascinating here is that the killer is operating with a terrifying presence of mind, suggesting their medical training might actually be playing a role in their ability to compartmentalize.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, medical students are trained to detach emotionally when dealing with severe bodily trauma.
Right. You have to be able to operate under pressure.
Exactly. And this killer seems to have weaponized that exact detachment. So the police quickly realize they are dealing with a highly organized threat. They pull the phone records and discover Suraj received a call from Rohan's phone right before the murders.
Luring him in.
Yeah. And they also uncover a photograph of Rohan, Suraj, and a third friend named Ajay. So tracing Ajay's phone, they are led to a location miles away near Sinhagad Road.
And when the police arrive there, they find an abandoned brick house completely surrounded by overgrown grass. It's incredibly isolated.
The perfect place for a crime.
Yeah, and inside, they find victim number 3, Ajay.
And the escalation of violence at this third location is just staggering.
It's hard to even read about.
It really is. If Rohan was tortured, Ajay was brutalized beyond recognition. His lower body was naked, a broken glass bottle had been inserted into him, his face was heavily bruised, and his throat was slit to finally end the torture.
It's just horrific, and the stakes shift instantly here for the police.
Oh, massively.
Because up until this moment, ACP Deshmukh is managing a gruesome, high-paced triple homicide. But Inspector Patel looks at Ajay's body and says to Deshmukh, "Sir, we have a tough time now."
Because of who Ajay is.
Exactly. Ajay isn't just another college student. He is the son of Minister Joshi.
Right. And the dynamics of any investigation change the second a politician's family is involved.
Oh, overnight.
You instantly transition from a criminal investigation to a severe political crisis. The police station is suddenly swarming with political workers demanding immediate justice.
You can just imagine the shouting.
The media is aggressively questioning the competence of the police force on national television. The Inspector General is calling urgent meetings.
And Deshmukh is on his first day.
Exactly. ACP Deshmukh is trying to manage all of this overwhelming external pressure on day one in a new city. The pressure to catch this killer isn't just about public safety anymore.
It's political survival.
Yeah, the entire department's prestige and structural integrity are on the line.
So we then move from these dark, isolated, blood-soaked crime scenes into broad daylight, which brings us to the moment this shadow killer is finally unmasked.
The big break in the case.
Right. The police dig frantically into the backgrounds of the three victims and they find a common link. There was a past court case involving all three of the dead men.
And who was the person who dragged them to court?
A 25-year-old medical graduate named Rohit Jadhav.
And establishing that motive allows the police to finally predict the killer's next move. Because the motive is linked to this specific court case, they realize there's a fourth target actively in danger.
The lawyer.
Yes, the lawyer in charge of the case, El Mohite. So Deshmukh and his team immediately mobilize and rush to the courthouse to intercept Rohit.
The tension in the sequence is palpable. Like they pull up to the court premises, they physically spot the lawyer walking out of the building. Deshmukh steps out of his vehicle to approach him, but before anyone can even shout a warning,
It happens so fast.
a man sprints out of the dense crowd. It's Rohit. He closes the distance, stabs the lawyer twice in the abdomen, right there in the middle of a massive crowd of civilians, and instantly takes off running.
I mean, striking in a populated area when you know the police are actively hunting you, that requires a very specific psychological profile.
He's not hiding in the shadows anymore.
No, Rohit is incredibly brazen. So Deshmukh and Inspector Bosel immediately give chase. They pursue him through an alley, past the main entrance of the courthouse, and finally, Deshmukh manages to close the gap.
He tackles him, right?
Yeah, he tackles Rohit to the ground and punches him hard in the face just to subdue him.
And this is the moment that completely subverts your expectations of how a serial killer acts when they're finally caught.
Oh, totally.
Because Rohit is pinned down by a senior police officer. He has just committed his fourth murder in broad daylight. You expect him to fight, or to stay silent, or maybe even to brag about it, right?
Yeah, typically you'd see a struggle or a confession.
But what does he do? He pleads. He looks at Deshmukh and says, "Please let me go. I have some important work to do. Please."
And Deshmukh is understandably stunned by that request. I mean, he asks him, what work?
And Rohit looks a veteran homicide cop in the eye and says, "I have to kill someone. Please let me go."
It's chilling.
The sheer audacity of asking a police officer for a literal hall pass to go commit a fifth murder. He even promises to come back and surrender afterward. It's just surreal.
It really is. But to understand why Rohit says that, you have to look at the taxonomy of killers.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, Rohit isn't a thrill seeker, and he isn't a traditional psychopath acting on chaotic, uncontrollable impulses. He is what we call a mission-oriented killer.
Meaning he thinks he's doing a job.
Exactly. In his mind, he isn't committing crimes. He is executing a necessary task. His reality is entirely structured around this specific mission of retribution.
Which is why he's begging to just finish it.
Yes. And it completely short-circuits Deshmukh's experience. I mean, Deshmukh has solved over 60 murders and assisted on 100 more. He has seen every type of criminal pathology.
Well, he's seen it all.
But he has never seen a killer earnestly beg for a few more minutes of freedom purely to finish a hit list. This absolute obsession forces Rohit to break free from Deshmukh's grip and start running again, just completely ignoring the commands to freeze.
Which leaves Deshmukh with zero options. He draws his weapon, takes aim, and shoots Rohit just below the right kneecap to finally bring him down.
And that specific detail, the gunshot to the leg,
Oh, right.
it loops us right back to the very beginning of our deep dive. That is the exact detail the news reporter announced on the television while Aditya was eating pizza with his friends.
Wow, yeah. It creates a perfect narrative circle for the present-day events.
It does, but it leaves us with a massive psychological vacuum.
How so?
Well, look at Rohit's behavior at the courthouse. He demonstrates zero concern for his own survival, his freedom, or his pain. He only cares about completing his mission.
Right.
So are these the actions of a mind that is simply snapped? Or were these four dead men, Rohan, Suraj, Ajay, and the lawyer, the actual villains of the story?
Oh, that's a wild thought.
What could they have possibly done to trigger that level of calculated, agonizing retribution from a medical student?
Well, we have to shift away from the present to answer that because ACP Deshmukh flat out refuses to give Aditya and Nikhil any more details.
Right, he shuts them out.
Yeah, he shuts them down, citing the ongoing investigation. So if they want to know why this happened, they have to rely on their own deductive reasoning to uncover Rohit's past.
They have to become detectives themselves.
Exactly. We are rewinding from the blood-soaked streets of Pune back to the seemingly innocent college years.
And the detective work here is quite clever,
It is.
because earlier, Deshmukh had briefly let slip the name of Rohit's best friend from college, Alok. And he mentioned that Alok originally hailed from a town called Satara.
Which is a tiny clue, but it's something.
Right. So Aditya and Nikhil head to the medical college where Alok is doing his postgraduate studies, but they hit an administrative wall. The staff won't help them locate an Alok without his surname.
Because there's probably a dozen Alex.
Exactly. So they are wandering the campus, getting incredibly frustrated. They actually manage to find a student named Alok, but it turns out his friend is Rohit Mehta, not Rohit Jadhav.
Just a dead end.
Yeah, they are literally walking back to their bikes, ready to completely abandon the search for the day.
But this is where observational deduction pays off. Aditya spots a white Alto car pulling into the parking lot.
The license plate, right?
Yes. He hones in on the license plate and notices it starts with MH11. He knows that MH11 is the specific regional transport code for vehicles registered in Satara.
Such a lucky catch.
It is. They take a chance, approach the driver, and sure enough, his name badge reads Alok.
It's a great moment of investigative problem solving.
So they corner Alok, convince him they need to understand what happened to his best friend, and Alok agrees to talk. He takes a deep breath and transports us all the way back to July 2009.
The very first days at Bharat Medical College.
Yeah.
And through Alok's memories, we are introduced to the 2009 version of Rohit Jadhav. And I have to say, the contrast with the dead-eyed, mission-oriented killer we just analyzed is staggering.
Night and day.
Truly. This version of Rohit is a 6-foot-tall, muscular, incredibly handsome guy. Alok describes him as looking like a model, a total stud. He isn't a brooding loner harboring dark thoughts.
Not even slightly. He's the guy who aggressively sleeps in, hates waking up early for his morning classes.
Priorities, right?
Yeah. He takes forever to meticulously pick out a blue t-shirt and sprays on an excessive amount of deodorant before heading out the door.
The classic college way.
Completely. He outright tells Alok that he doesn't give a damn about being late on the first day of medical school because he's primarily there to scope out the girls.
Wow.
Yeah, he views the college campus purely as a playground to enjoy life.
He embodies the archetype of the arrogant, carefree freshman. He displays absolutely zero interest in the gravity of the medical profession he is about to enter.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. As they are walking to that first class, Alok asks Rohit about his past relationships.
Okay.
And Rohit delivers this incredibly cynical, dismissive view on romance. He looks at Alok and says, "There is no love. All you see is infatuation."
If you examine that statement against the trajectory of his life, it is a devastating psychological baseline.
Right. Think about the tragic irony built into that moment. The title of the source material we are unpacking is Until Love Sets Us Apart.
Oh, wow.
This is a guy who actively claims love doesn't even exist, who reduces it to mere biological infatuation. Yet somehow an experience inextricably linked to love is going to eventually shatter that belief system and turn him into a monster capable of inserting glass bottles into his classmates.
It's a haunting foreshadowing. It highlights a critical concept in trauma psychology, how deeply a person's core beliefs can be overwritten by catastrophic events.
Completely rewritten.
Yeah, but before the trauma, there is the catalyst. And we see this play out immediately when they finally enter the college auditorium.
The first lecture.
Right. The principal is on stage delivering a very serious, sobering speech about the intense difficulty of the curriculum, specifically highlighting how vast subjects like anatomy and physiology are going to be.
Setting the tone for the next 5 years.
But Rohit is literally sitting there wearing headphones, listening to music, completely tuning out the principal's warnings.
Of course he is.
Instead, he is scanning the rows of students, pointing out girls to Alok. But then, his eyes lock onto one specific person.
Aisha.
Yes, Aisha. Alok notes the defining details. She has fair skin, striking blue eyes, and she's originally from New Delhi. She is sitting a few rows ahead of them.
And Rohit immediately zeroes in on her. He leans over to Alok and says, She is just too good. I am gonna try my luck with her.
Very subtle.
Yeah. But he approaches this with a surprising amount of tactical strategy. When the introductory lecture actually begins, Rohit realizes Aisha is sitting by herself in one of the front benches.
Okay.
So he doesn't just awkwardly walk up to her and force a conversation. He turns to the male student sitting next to him and very politely asks if they can swap seats, claiming he needs a better view of the blackboard.
It is a smooth, confident maneuver.
It really is. He secures the seat right next to Aisha. She randomly turns around to check the size of the class, and Rohit seizes the small window of opportunity. He says, "Hi, my name's Rohit."
The first move.
She introduces herself, they shake hands, and he immediately leverages her background, charmingly telling her not to miss New Delhi too much because the people in Pune are incredibly lovable.
I mean, he knows what he's doing.
He winks at her, she laughs. It is the textbook definition of a cinematic meet-cute.
It is.
And that is the incredible whiplash of this entire deep dive. You start with this ambitious, carefree medical student effortlessly flirting with a beautiful girl in a sunlit lecture hall,
So normal.
and you end up with a relentless, highly organized killer bleeding out on the pavement of a courthouse, begging a veteran cop for a few more minutes to finish a hit list. It just hammers home exactly how fragile that predictable life we discussed at the very beginning truly is.
If we connect this to the broader spectrum of human behavior, it really forces us to confront our own capacity for radical transformation.
Yeah.
I mean, how does a healer turn into a killer? It doesn't happen spontaneously. It requires an unhealed, catastrophic psychological wound.
Something that breaks them at their core.
Exactly. A trauma so profound that it dismantles a person's existing moral framework and rebuilds it entirely around vengeance. The medical training, the understanding of anatomy, the ability to compartmentalize all of the tools meant for preserving life were simply hijacked by that trauma and repurposed for destruction.
It's a terrifying evolution, from a carefree student to a mission-oriented killer.
Absolutely terrifying.
And it leaves you, the listener, with a final provocative thought to mull over long after this deep dive ends. The title of this story is Until Love Sets Us Apart. We know the ending is a calculated bloodbath in the streets of Pune.
Right.
And we now know the beginning was a stolen glance, a swapped seat, and a joke in a college auditorium. But the space between those two moments holds a chilling question you have to explore on your own.
What is that?
If love is supposed to be the ultimate foundational healing force in our lives, what happens to the human mind when love becomes the exact disease that destroys you?